Time now for an in-depth look at the market news this afternoon, and for that I'm joined on the line by Mr. Daniel Yu, global strategist at Yuanta Securities. Mr. Yu, thank you for coming on today.
Thank you for having me today.
Well, stocks in New York started the week higher on hope for new stimulus measures. This time leading the S&P higher were energy and financials, which have been struggling. What's the story in the global markets?
Yes, as you said, U.S. market recovered 2 days in a row. That the Dow Jones gained about 1.5%. The S&P 500 was up about 1.6%, and Nasdaq added highest of 1.9%. Clearly, the news of the possible additional talk for the policies, the fiscal policy support, is making the market to go up further. The market was pretty much led by banks, energy, and tech sectors. And if you look into the details of this, Nancy Pelosi expressed some optimism that the lawmakers can still reach a deal on another relief bill, saying that she and the Treasury Secretary, Stephen Mnuchin, agreed to resume talks. But, of course, it's not something that's set in stone yet. And based on that sentiment, market has risen. With this kind of news, we did see dollar extending its losses, going down to slightly towards the 94 territory, because obviously this kind of additional boosting measures would have further burden on the fiscal policy side and the overall budget side. Now, having said that, if you look into the future, we are looking into the Brexit talks in Europe and also the presidential election debate, the first one between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. After this probably debate, we will figure out what kind of implication would have depending who will win the election. Of course, we need to keenly watch what's happening in terms of the boosting measure in regards to the COVID-19 incident, as well as the long-term future fourth industrial revolution related sectors, how much of the additional support we'll see from the government side.
Well, Korean stocks were higher today, too, and by quite a bit. This, of course, is the last session until next week. What was driving the trade today in Seoul?
Yes, as you said, the Kospi was up about 8.6%, and Kosdaq was up another 1.46%. Clearly, people were concerned about the current condition of Korea because the event that is happening in regards to the taxes, the large shareholders requirement, or I guess the rule is supposed to be 1 billion Korean won. That might go down to probably 0.3 billion. If that's the case, then a lot of the local investors might be selling the Korean market, and there was a major concern about the supply and demand side of the Korean market. And also the BTS company, the big hit, the listing will be coming through, and a lot of money is flowing into that, the IPO market, and estimation is as much as $90 billion US, or 100 trillion won, Korean won, is flowing into that. And obviously that liquidity is kind of putting pressure on Korean equity market in the last about week or so. But in the last 2 days, Korean market did rebound quite significantly because we see continuation of ample liquidity in the system, and also we are seeing the earnings expectations forecast revising up for both Kospi and Kosdaq, and clearly that is putting some great news to the market that we need a fundamental improvement in order for the market to go up further.
And briefly, if you could address these figures we got out today with the resurgence of COVID-19, industrial production down in August, retail sales, though, higher. Tell us about that and what stands out to you.
Yes, I mean, it's quite mixed numbers. If you look at the South Korea's industrial output, it fell. And then you look at the retail sales, it has risen. And in terms of the business confidence index, it's coming in quite nicely, but the consumer confidence is very, very poor. all in all, it is showing that this COVID-19 is having a widespread of implications for Korean equity market as well as Korean economy. We think that the continuation of boosting measure is necessary, and also we need to see global economy recovering in order for Korea export to pick up. All in all, we don't see any clear picture at the current point in time, but nevertheless, we don't see the market or the economy to tank more, but rather it might be stabilizing from the very weak bottom. And we need to see some more indication from the various side of the economy that the economic recovery could happen into next year. We'll watch closely in terms of what's happening to the fiscal policy as well as monetary policy in the future.
Got it. All right, Mr. Yu, thanks so much for sharing your insights today. Have a safe and happy holiday.
Thank you very much. You too.